I need your help, please subscribe my channel. When she said, it's normal to hang out with male friends, it came out like a declaration, calm and assured, as if she were teaching me some universal law of living. I nodded along, careful to hide the unease stirring inside me, but the way she emphasized normal didn't feel spontaneous. It felt curated, a rule she intended to follow for herself while leaving me on the outside. The phrase lingered in my mind, sharp and persistent. If this was truly normal, then it should apply equally to both of us. The next day, I reached out to an old colleague, someone I trusted, and arranged a simple coffee meetup. Nothing complicated, nothing secretive, just a casual reconnection. When I mentioned it to my wife, her response was brief, a single clipped sentence. I told her the person's name, and added that it was merely a friendly catch-up. She replied with a short, almost brittle, "Okay." Her silence afterward felt heavy, accusatory even, and I filed it away. The coffee meeting itself was exactly as I had promised myself it would be. We reminisced, shared easy laughter, and spoke of memories that belonged to another chapter of our lives. Still, my thoughts kept returning to my wife's assertion. Was her idea of normal mutual, or was it just a loophole for her own convenience? Back at home, she moved around like someone navigating an invisible minefield. She asked about my day, about traffic, about the coffee. Questions that sounded ordinary but felt loaded. When I said it had been fine, she closed her eyes briefly, as if tasting something unpleasant. Over the following week, the imbalance grew clearer. She stayed late at work dinners, laughed privately on the phone, and quickly silenced it when I entered the room. Names flickered across her screen and vanished, moments that made the apartment feel smaller and colder. Her normal seemed to allow secrecy. Mine became a growing web of suspicion. I didn't lash out. I kept records instead. Screenshots of cryptic messages, dates and times that didn't align, snippets of conversations that, when pieced together, painted a portrait she hadn't meant me to see. My pain became methodical, organized into a ledger. When I confronted her, I expected anger, denials, maybe pleading. Instead, she spun indignation, calling me jealous, controlling, small-minded. Her words were rapid and polished, her eyes sliding away as I read aloud the fragments I'd saved. She blamed stress, the need for adult conversation, loneliness, thin excuses that couldn't stand against the weight of what I presented. She tried to pivot, accusing me of invading her privacy, asserting that trust was a two-way street, and that I had crossed the line. I let her speak. I let her feel she still held the narrative. Then I closed the ledger, and said nothing further. That night, I resolved to respond in a different way, not with anger, not with anything illegal, but with precision. I invited a select group of mutual friends to dinner, under the pretense of celebrating a promotion I hadn't received. The guest list included those whose trust one could rely on, friends who had witnessed her late work nights. That evening, I remained composed, keeping my voice steady and my hands calm. Conversation flowed lightly, but I asked everyone to stay after dinner for a brief speech. She laughed nervously, attempting to dismiss the moment, but the room thrummed with curiosity. I took out my phone and, with careful clarity, began recounting the timeline I had assembled. I read the messages, connected the dots between lies, alibis, and the late-night calls. No shouting, no exaggeration, just facts laid bare. As the story unfolded, the room grew quiet. Faces shifted. Admiration for her work ethic and charm gave way to stunned recognition. Her composure faltered. First came anger, then pleading, then a brittle silence. Even the friend she had cited as a colleague seemed frozen, unable to meet anyone's eyes. The normal she had declared for herself had become her own undoing. After that night, attempts at explanation or reframing were futile. The ripple effect reached friends, family, and the man she had kept hidden. Secrets carefully guarded could no longer be protected. I didn't celebrate her downfall. I reclaimed what had been skewed fairness. My revenge wasn't destruction, it was truth and consequence. I wanted her to feel the gravity of the double standard she had imposed, to witness the scrambling for excuses under the gaze of those who mattered. In the weeks that followed, she moved out. The apartment felt emptier, yet somehow lighter, cleaner. I closed the ledger, deleted the remaining messages, and held on to the memory of that evening as a quiet talisman. Revenge, I realized, wasn't about breaking someone. It was about restoring balance, preserving one's dignity, and letting the truth itself become the punishment.